All right, we are live. He is Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. It is the MyBookie.ag Monday night matchup. You can sign on right now at MyBookie.ag and bet anything, anytime, anywhere. They will even match your sign-on bonus up to $1,000. They'll give you a sign-on bonus match up to $1,000. MyBookie.ag code NextRound to get that. MyBookie.ag code NextRound. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. What is up, Lance Taylor? How are you?
I'm good, man. Getting ready for what would have been an awesome game if Joe Burrow was healthy, and now it's like a complete shitstorm of a game with Jake Browning playing. But we'll see how this thing pans out. I mean, Jacksonville. We talked about this on the show today. If they win this game, they're in the number one seed right now in the AFC this deep in the season, which is pretty incredible.
It really is. The current number one seed right here, by the way, the Miami Dolphins. But if Jacksonville wins this game, they will be the one seed. It's all going to sort itself out, by the way. All those teams play one another. Baltimore and Jacksonville play. Baltimore and Miami play. Miami does not play Jacksonville. So it will, I guess, somehow sort itself out, or it'll become even more of a convoluted mess.
Yeah, look, my Rams now in the playoff mix at 6-6. I saw today they have a 40% chance of making the postseason. They've got a 1% chance of winning the Super Bowl, it said.
1%?
I'll take it. But they get Baltimore on the road, Eastern time zone, where Sean McVay's been really good, but I hate getting Baltimore coming off a bye.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be pulling for you. It helps the Dolphins, but you're right, getting them coming off a bye. You know, Miami gets them the next to last week of the season in Baltimore, so I am certain it is going to be cold. It is going to be windy. They'll be playing their best football. That is a bad spot for Miami, I think.
Well, I guess that week 16 or week 17, however it plays out, that next to last weekend is going to be New Year's Eve. So I don't know if you guys play on that Sunday, but we'll be in Pasadena getting ready for Alabama, Michigan. And unfortunately, the Rams have got 2 games in SoFi back-to-back weeks, and then that week they go to New York. So not only do they play on the road, they play Eastern time zone. So that game kicks at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Woo!
So I don't know if your game, I would assume with Baltimore, Miami, it'll be if it's not prime time, it's going to be 10 a.m. too.
Yeah, it's a noon Central Time kick. So, 10 a.m. CBS. So we're going to have to find a bar somewhere that's got Rams in.
Yeah, I guess we'll do that because you guys will be playing for seeding, and the Rams are probably – that could be the game that puts them in the postseason or keeps them out.
Yeah. Baltimore, by the way, they play your Rams and they play the Jags. That Jags game is a Sunday night game in a couple Sundays. That's an interesting game. That could be if Jacksonville wins tonight and continues to win, that's a significant game coming up in a couple Sundays that you wouldn't have normally looked at.
Yeah. I mean, if Baltimore does stumble down the stretch, I mean, that could be for the number 1 overall seed. And I don't think anybody would have seen that. You know,
Yeah.
I would have seen more. Like I thought Miami was going to be good this year, but I thought Buffalo was going to be better. But this is one of those games tonight with the Bengals heading into Jacksonville. I could have seen, how important this game would have been, a month and a half ago. But again, the significance of Joe Burrow, you can't overstate it.
Jacksonville is a 10-point favorite. You've got to play at lanceslock.com on the side, right? Jacksonville a 10-point favorite at home.
Yeah. We've got to play on the side. This is a complete garbage game. Side really hadn't moved. It's just sitting at 9.5. Now the total is crept up. It was 39.5 earlier today when I capped this game, and it's up to 40.5. And I'm just going to tell you, I like the over. I almost played the over earlier. People are going to say, how are they going to get home with Jake Browning? But you still have some dominant receivers on that offense. When you look at Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is coming back. So you've got some weapons. And Jake Browning, ironically, the last time Washington was in a college football playoff against Alabama over in Atlanta, Jake Browning was the starting quarterback for the Huskies. So this is a guy that's been just kind of hanging on in the NFL, but he's solid. He's not awful.
Jody says the Dolphins are going to work out Reuben Foster. Jerome Baker got hurt yesterday for Miami. Really good linebacker. We're shopping off the trash heap. Not trash heap. That's a bad way of putting that. We're shopping off the discount rack. Reuben Foster. And I don't know if you saw this, but we were looking to sign Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, I thought you did sign Pierre-Paul.
Yeah. I mean, how old is he, man? He's been in the league forever, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's got fingers that got blown off before some of these kids were in the league, right?
Yes, absolutely. Team total tonight, Jacksonville. I see, 25 and a half, somewhere in that. Does that sound about right?
I'll check it right here. That does sound about
right. I see Cincinnati somewhere 14 and a half to 15, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I don't know how you would feel about a team total if you like the over.
Yeah, I'm seeing Jacksonville now at 26 and
Okay.
Cincinnati 14.5.
Yeah. MyBookie.ag, you can get over 26 for minus 110, under 26 for minus 120 right now. For Jacksonville. For Cincinnati, what'd you say? 14.5 is minus 110, and 14.5 under is minus 120. So those are some of the ones. I was going to pull up a player prop. Let's look at let me just look at some passing yards here. So here we go. Jake Browning, total passing yards. He is the starter, for those of you that do not know, for Cincinnati in the absence of Joe Burrow. What would you guess Jake Browning's pass yard total is?
It's going to be low 200s. I'll tell you this, last night I played 3 props on that game just to have something to do. I played the over 267 passing yards from Pat Mahomes. It didn't make it there. A lot of that was how long that first possession was from Jake. That's how you get burned on some of these things.
Yeah.
And then I did play, this is funny. And this is the fun thing about playing some of these props is I played Christian Watson over 18.5, his longest grab. Third play of the game, 19-yard reception, and that was his longest of the game.
Wow.
Got it by a half yard. But already in the books, there's nothing you can do about that. So that one's already cashed in. And then I had Travis Kelce over 69.5 pass receiving yards. He had 81. So ended up going 2-1 on the props last night. But this Kansas City offense is a mess.
Hey, you know,
low 200s.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even give you the number, did I? 220.5 for Jake Browning, 220.5 for his total passing yards.
Okay.
And Trevor Lawrence isn't that much more, really. 245.5 for him in tonight's game. You can get even money on both sides of that. 245.5 for Trevor Lawrence. Hey, I did not tell you this. I'm going to tell you this story. So I'm sitting in the press box at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And right before the Alabama-Georgia game, I tell you, it was right at 3 o'clock. And that game didn't kick until like 10 after 3.
Yeah.
So I'm looking just to see if the point spread had moved any. I'd not been keeping up with it to see if there was a late money shift or something. And I started looking at game props. And I could get Alabama to win by 7 to 13 points. And I kind of had a gut feeling Alabama was going to win. Alabama to win by 7 to 13 points at plus 985.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I was like, man, that's
you understand it's got to, what'd you say, 7 to what?
7 to 13. I had the 7 to 13 window.
Yeah. So it's got to hit in that window.
Yeah.
And boy, you would have hated it late when Georgia scored the final touchdown.
When Bama was up 17-7, I had just missed the cutoff, Lance. And because my thinking was, $10 if Alabama wins, that's a decent little payday right there. You know, there's a chance they're going to win by a touchdown, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And but when it's 17-7, I was like, man, I cannot believe I missed that window. I got a decent shot. I would have had a decent shot of hitting that.
Yeah, look, props can get you in trouble if you spray the board and you play them a lot and you play them for hefty amounts. But like tonight's game, a lot of people probably don't want to play it just because it's a backup quarterback. But you can find some props at MyBookie.ag. We'll try to help you out on that. I think I would play Browning's over right now.
Okay, so 220.5, you take the over on that?
Yeah, he's coming off 227 last week against Pittsburgh. I think statistically Pittsburgh has a better passing defense.
Both of them have 1.5 passing touchdowns over under. You like anything there?
No, I'd probably stay away from that.
Travis Etienne rush yards, 68.5.
I kind of lean that over.
Joe Mixon rush yards, 45.5.
Man, Mixon, they basically just gave up on the run. I know it was against Pittsburgh, but boy, they just they didn't. I think they had 25 total rushing yards last week.
Yeah. Zay Jones receiving yards, 27.5 in that one.
Man, Calvin Ridley has really become a big part of this offense.
Yeah, I was looking for his. Here we go. Total receiving yards, Calvin Ridley, 59.5.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah, I think I would definitely. I would tell you what, I would take a look at Calvin Ridley. I would think that his receiving total is probably 4.5 to 5.5.
4.5 total receptions, 4.5 for Calvin Ridley. You think the over there?
I feel really confident if he stays and plays a full 4 quarters, he's going to get 8 targets.
Yeah.
So I think I would play that over.
Jamar Chase receiving yards is 62.5, and his receptions. Give me 2 seconds. His receptions are 5.5 for Jamar Chase on the Cincinnati side.
So Jacksonville is not good against the pass, really good against the run, third overall against the run. But when you look at passing defense right now, yeah, Jacksonville has not been good. Giving up over 200 a game. I lost it here. Anyway, what was the last part we were talking about?
5.5 for Jamar Chase, 62.5 receiving yards. 5.5 receptions.
Yeah, he had 61 yards last. I mean, look, if they're going to beat Jacksonville, they're going to have to do it through the air. Brownie's going to have to make plays. So, I think he'll get plenty of targets, whether or not, that you got the accuracy tonight from Browning. We shall see.
Landmine Believer says Chiefs' schedule is so bad the rest of the way they'll end up the 1 seed. Here you go. You ready for it?
No. And Landmine Believer, I know they might have arguably the best player on the planet, but that offense is so out of sync. But, yeah, go ahead.
All right, here you go. They host the Bills. That is going to be a desperate Bills team.
Oh, yeah. And the way they're both playing right now, the Bills are the better team.
And they're coming off a bye, the Bills are, and they go to Kansas City. They're at the Patriots, who are just god-awful. They scored 0 yesterday against the Chargers. So
I don't see a pass. Look, I was even thinking about this today. I was at lunch, and I was watching how Kenny Pickett had that ankle surgery. I guess it was a tightrope because they think he's going to come back this year. I don't know why you would even rush him back because Pittsburgh right now is going the wrong direction. But I was just thinking to myself, Trubisky and Zappi, I think I play Pittsburgh in that game. I mean, that's how bad New England is.
That is, and we're going to get to that in a second. Raiders at Chiefs.
It should be a Chiefs win.
Yeah, that's a Christmas Day game, by the way. Bengals at Chiefs.
That should be a Chiefs win.
And then they close at the Chargers.
I mean, I think, the Bills and the Chargers, I mean, if they can split those games, then, yeah, they're right there in the mix.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mentioned we were going to get to the Thursday night game. So real quick, tonight, right now, the line is at 10. Did it just move? Did I see it just move? Quick update here. Nope, at 10. Jacksonville favored 10, total of 40.5 at MyBookie.ag.
Oh, it did move then.
Huh?
It did move.
Okay, so it was 10.5. All right.
Well, it was 9.5.
9.5. So it's up to 10, total of 40.5 in that one. And Lance, you got that game up at lanceslock.com if people want to.
Yep. Jump on board, lanceslock.com. We've got a side, and then we've got a free play with the Purdue Boilermakers in hoops tonight. Always a free play up. They're laying a big number tonight, trying to bounce back from that loss to Northwestern.
So in very Iowa football fashion, the Thursday night game will be the Patriots starting, I guess, Bailey Zappi, as you said. He's looking like he's going to go the rest of the year. And the Steelers starting Mitch Trubisky. The Steelers are favored 6 in Pittsburgh, Lance. The total is 30. The total is 30 for this game.
That is unbelievable.
I might take the under.
We have seen the lowest college football total in history, where we had Iowa, Nebraska just a couple of weeks ago, and this is the lowest total I can remember in the NFL.
I've never seen one at 30, and
I've never seen one in 20s.
I think it was 31, 30.5, so I think it's getting bet down there heading up to the Thursday night game. So Patriots at Steelers on Amazon Prime. Those Thursday night games, by and large, have been awful to watch. Last Thursday's was good. The Cowboys taking on the Seahawks. But this could be the low point. This could be the low point of the Amazon package.
The Chargers win 6-0 on the road yesterday, and the Steelers scored 10 points against the Cardinals.
Yeah. And that game had a massive rain delay in it, too. That was like a 2-hour rain delay. But, man, that is bad. As Bob Sacramento says, look at all these backups playing right now. Flacco is playing. Bailey Zappi is playing. Mitch Trubisky is playing. Jake Browning is playing. You do have a lot of backups playing right now.
Yeah, and you've got some bad football. Gardner Minshew is probably playing as well as any of the backups, and he's still, watching him yesterday. We had the Titans, unfortunately, losing in overtime after getting a 3-0 lead. Losing a game on a missed extra point in the NFL is something that should never happen.
Yeah, I would agree. It's gotten more difficult, but still, that's a bad way to lose a football game.
I'll tell you this, man. Will Levis is one of these kids that falls forward because he's not good now because they are so inadequate at the position. He is starting in the NFL.
Right.
And I'm sure he's living a great life in Nashville, but watching him yesterday, man, he is just not good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He's probably living the life in Nashville, but he ain't playing great football, that's for sure. All right, lanceslock.com, Lance, and I'll tell them about MyBookie. How do they? What do they need to do to get on board?
Yeah. Okay. So lanceslock.com, jump on board. Free play tonight in hoops with Purdue. We've got the side in the Bengals Jaguars. So jump on board with us. It is time to win this holiday season. I was going to ask you one thing though, lanceslock.com, a bunch of plays every single week there. Did you watch any of the Saints Detroit game?
I watched it once the Saints came back. After the Dolphins game was over, I flipped over and the Saints had the ball. Jameis Winston in. Derek Carr had already gone out hurt.
That's what I was going to bring. Right when I walked in, when Carr went out with the injury, and then Winston came in, and I knew Winston was a backup, but he didn't look like Winston. Like he's lost. It looked like 40 pounds.
Yeah, he's still got that weird build. You know, he's always had kind of a weird build.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He did look like he dropped some lbs. Like he's trying to stay in shape.
He looked like a different player altogether, and his accuracy yesterday was awful. They had every opportunity to drive right down and take the lead there and couldn't do it, and then they end up giving the ball back. And I'll tell you, man, this Detroit team is really good, and they're really aggressive. And for them to throw the ball multiple times on that final drive and that final 3rd and 8 where Jared Goff hit Josh Reynolds, man, they just have a lot of confidence in golf, and they're just not afraid to get after it.
Yeah. I'm in my sports room. Brett complimented my Christmas tree. Thank you. My wife does a great job. It's the old sports room Christmas tree there. I love having it up, watching football down here with the Christmas lights on. So thank you for that, Brett. That's nice of you to say. All right, MyBookie.ag, code NextRound. They'll do that sign-on bonus, sign-on match up to $1,000 when you use code NextRound at MyBookie.ag. We'll be back at 9 in the morning. Everybody enjoy Monday Night Football. Have a good night, Lance.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.